welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast, and we are here for another off-network Christmas episode. We're talking about some of the holiday films that have come out. This is mostly, we've got Netflix, we've got OWN, we've got a bunch of different stuff that we're talking about. Going to be super fun. And I'm Folk Dirk Rachel Wagner, and Amy is here.
Hey guys.
Amy, how are you doing?
It's finals week. I'm exhausted.
At least it's one of your last. You're almost done.
My last,
oh my gosh.
Yep. So, yay.
Yeah. I'd love to say that you someday grow to be sort of sentimental of things like finals, but no, you're always glad you're done with that. There are some things I look back sentimentally about college because I loved college actually, but finals isn't one of them.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Almost done. Oh, that'll be so exciting. So, well, very good luck with that. So today we are talking about some different films. We already did part one of our off-network recaps this week where I talked with Gina from Cozy Cabin this last weekend, and that was really fun. Actually, I loved that podcast. I thought that one was hilarious and really fun. So be sure to check that out. But we haven't had you on for a little bit for these recaps, and so how has your Thanksgiving gone? And were you able to get any Christmas movie viewing in over the holiday?
I tried a lot, but I am still so behind. I've just had so much schoolwork the past couple weeks that things have been crazy. But hopefully soon, after Monday of next week, I will have more time to watch Christmas movies.
Well, hopefully you get to, because there's been some pretty good stuff. It's been a pretty good season so far. So, all right. Well, let's dive in. Let's talk about some of these films and let us know in the comment section what you think if you've gotten to see any of these. And let's start off and talk about A Christmas for Mary. This is one of 3 films that OWN Network is doing. This stars Vivica Fox, Jackie Hare, Morgan Dixon, Alonzo B. Slater, and its up-and-coming journalist Lena Jones is tasked with delivering a story by Christmas that will wow her boss, magazine editor Vivian Vey, who is dangling a promotion to head writer over Lena's head. Intrigued by a portrait of a mysterious woman painted by her late grandfather, Lena journeys to the small town of Pineville, where, with her mother's blessing and support, Lena uncovers a long-forgotten tale of young love that not only uncovers cherished memories of the past, but also inspires Lena to follow her heart and find her own true love and her perfect Christmas story. So, what did you think overall of this film?
It wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
But there were some elements I liked. For one, no one got super upset or angry that the grandparents had a previous relationship, which I'm happy about. There wasn't an anger or a fight about that or anything, which made me happy. Also, I do want to say that the other girlfriend I found to be hilarious. She was just so over the top, all about me type of person. And I just thought she did such a good job playing the other girlfriend. It was such a funny character.
Well, I do think this is hurt a little bit by the fact that this feels like the 500th movie I've seen in the last 2 months where somebody is following a ring or following a portrait or following a painting or a car or something that they're researching and trying to find out more about so that they can, give back the bracelet or the ring or whatever it might be. There have been so many of those this year. That was definitely on people's mind when they were writing scripts for Christmas movies 2020.
Yeah, the amount of searching we have done this year. I was like, wow, everyone wants to be Christmas Sherlock Holmes this year or something. I'm like, all right, what are we going to
describe it? Most of them have been pretty boring. I'm not going to lie. There have been a few. I liked the time. I surprisingly liked Time for Us to Come Home for Christmas on Hallmark Channel, which they did a better job, I think, of, because you had a bunch of different people's stories you were following. It wasn't just one story, because a lot of times it's like, why am I watching these people research? Like, that's not
Yeah.
interesting. It's kind of boring. And it makes you realize how good a job Science Hill Delivered does, because that's basically every single episode of Science Hill Delivered is we have a letter, we're going to figure out who the letter belongs to, and then we figure out how we can help them with whatever problem that they had. And in that, it makes you realize, seeing all of these movies, that wow, they do a really good job. And I think maybe it helps the fact that that is a series, and so you don't need a lot of that kind of background. You already care about these characters, you're already invested in these characters. And sometimes it can feel a little bit like when you're watching these searching movies, it's like, why does this person really care that much about getting the bracelet or getting the ring or getting the whatever back to the original person? I remember that very crafty one that we saw, that it was like, why does she care so much about getting this back to the person that they belong to, that she wouldn't even, that coin, that she wouldn't even think about selling the coin when it was so valuable? It seems unrealistic that she wouldn't have at least thought about it you know
Yeah, I think this one though had a little bit more of an explanation of motivation about why he was interested, because it was his grandmother's story and they did find the letters in her
hmm
room and stuff. So there was like, it made a little bit more sense why he wanted to be involved in
yeah.
the story, looking for the story. Whereas some of these other ones, it's like, why does this person, like you said, why do they care?
Yeah, and I did like the fact that the ending was pretty untidy. Like the fact that, like, it wasn't true love that they were researching, and it didn't work out, and that was interesting. I mean, I guess spoiler alert there, but it's a recap show. What do you know? Um, the problem with this movie is that the acting on the two leads was not up to snuff. It was very amateurish. I hate to be mean, but it just was extremely wooden and extremely weak. And the dialogue was also not it was not on a Lifetime or Hallmark level. I'm sorry. And people might think, oh, well, that's not a very high level. Well, it's not on that level. It
I
was poor.
the acting from, I think, the dad character, and then of course JK always does a fantastic job, and Vivica Fox, in my
Yeah,
opinion. But I think it was the two
the
main
two
leads,
leads.
and then his mom also. Some of her
Yeah.
lines were kind of odd or strange, or like they seemed at weird times, kind of. So
hmm
it kind of it didn't make me believe like in the story as much, because they were kind of off.
I felt like if you gathered a group of your friends and you did like a little skit and you're like, wow, that's really good for like a group of my friends. But like, this is professional actors and professional movie makers. Like, you expect more than just a group of friends, of your friends. You expect it to be better. And yeah, and Vivica Fox, we'll talk about her in the next one, but I feel like today's movies are designed to make me super impressed with her acting, because she's so much better than anybody else in these movies. And yeah, I mean, so I guess, way to go, Vivica Fox. She's a master thespian. We had no idea, but she's. I mean, she's great. She's not in the movie that much either as Jack A. And I'm so frustrated about Jack A because I've yet to see. She's been in so many Christmas movies at this point, and I have yet to see a single one that made her funny. Like, she's hilarious. Why is come on, one movie, make her funny. Like, make her funny. Why is that an impossibility? I don't understand.
I always feel like they severely underuse her. Like,
Yeah.
she could be in so many, like in this movie specifically, she could have been in so many more scenes.
Yeah.
And it just, I'm like, oh, come on, please put her in a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like the Christmas on My Mind last year, where she was literally just a shrink. Like, she wasn't funny at all. And I was like, how much potential does that have for her to be this woman's therapist who's had amnesia? Like, that whole movie was so disappointing. But but come on, like make her funny. She should be hilarious. She is hilarious. I will fight for that. She is funny. Why not make her funny in these movies? I mean, I have literally seen her in, I mean, dozens of Christmas movies, and none of them, they've all been like a sweet supporting kind of role. Like we might get a tiny bit of sass. I think the closest was actually last year on Own when she played in the I think it was called a Carol Christmas, I think is what it was called. But she played the basically kind of like the Jacob Marley character in she well it wasn't really, it was more of like a family man type story where she goes back and ends up married to uh the or she ends up not is it no she ends up not married to the person because she had, sorry, these all start to run together, but she ends up, the lead character ends up not married to her person because she thinks, oh, I would have had a better life if I hadn't made those choices, and she goes back and whatever, and that one was pretty good, and she's pretty sassy in it. That's probably as close as we've gotten, but come on, make her funny. Please. That's my call. But I don't know, I thought that the acting was, it was really tough to kind of take everything else seriously, and I thought the dialogue was not very good in this movie. So how many stars would you give it out of 5?
I'm gonna go 2.5.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I'll give it 2.5. I'll give it 2.5. Okay. So then we have the Angela's Christmas Wish on Netflix. This is the voices of Catriona Balfe, Oscar Butler, Mo Dumford. It's a sequel to the much loved Angela's Christmas, at least much loved by me. Angela's Christmas Wish is a heartwarming tale of a determined little girl who sets out to reunite her family in times for Christmas. And I have a full review of this over on my channel for Family Movie Night. Every Monday on my channel, I do a Family Movie Night recommendation for that week. I've been doing it for over 4 years. So we have over 200 movie recommendations over there. So check that out. I'll put a link in the description if you want. I have the original also reviewed for Family Movie Night, and I have Angela's Christmas Wish. And this is an animated short, and animated shorts are such an important part of Christmas. Ever since the like 1960s, it's been Charlie Brown Christmas, we've had so many Rudolph, we've had so many classic animated shorts that are iconic to Christmas. And so you liked the first one, correct?
Yeah, it was adorable.
Yeah, you enjoyed it. So what did you think of this sequel?
I really liked it. I think
Yay!
they were I wasn't, what am I going to be like? No, I don't like little animated girls.
Well, you're a tough sell when it comes to animation, so I'm always a little nervous.
But this one was cute. I mean, it was a cute story. I really liked how they tied it into the first one, and there were all these people around town that were like, she's the girl who stole Jesus.
Yes, it was so cute. Oh,
like, that's adorable. I think it was a really cute story that the mom was
yes.
telling them, and then seeing their escapades, trying to get their dad back. It was really cute.
It's a little more sort of ambling, I would say, than like the first one is very like focused. This is what's happened. This is what's going on. Whereas this, they're kind of, you're more sort of just following and spending time with the characters kind of a thing. I mean, there is a plot, but so some people might like the first one better. Some people like this one better. But I loved both. And there's not a, I won't want to spoil it, but there is a moment that, boy, it paid off for me. The look on her face, the expression, I cried. I mean, it really worked all the feels for me.
It was good.
Yeah,
I loved it. The look on her face was just like priceless. It was so good.
Yeah, and it was funny too. I mean, the whole thing with them trying to dig to Australia was really cute and really funny. And I liked the animation a lot. It's very sweet. And the voice acting's all really good. And yeah, I think that these two shorts could have the potential of being something like these animated shorts that I mentioned that people watch every year, that people really enjoy. If you aren't up for a feature-length film, put on one of these 40 minutes and you really have a really nice Christmas message. And I think what's nice about these, both of them, is that they're like faith-based adjacent,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're
Yeah.
not like, there's nothing preachy about them. There's nothing um uh, nothing dogmatic or, like you see in other faith-based things, but they go to church, you're praying, there's faith, she talks to Jesus. So it's a little more Christian based than a lot of these other just rom-coms that we see.
Yeah.
And that's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's really also kind of general too. So it's not just like
Yeah,
one sect of Christianity, because it's more from a child
right.
perspective, which is
Yeah,
what I
like
really
anybody can enjoy it. You don't
yeah.
have to be a religious person to enjoy the short, but it's just nice. We're going to talk about the Forgotten Carols later on, but when you watch over 100 Christmas movies and none of them talk about Jesus at all, it's kind of like it's kind of refreshing when you get one that at least mentions that he's part of the holiday. I think. So I like that. I think that's nice. And so I don't know, I just loved it. It's one of my favorites of 2020 for Christmas movies.
Very cute. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many crowns do you give? I mean, stars.
I'm gonna go with 4.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 4.5. I really loved it. It was so sweet. So there we go. Hi, everybody. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsors for this episode of the podcast. They're the good folks over at Care Of. And Care Of is a wellness brand that makes it easy to maintain your health goals with a customized vitamin plan that helps you feel your best today and supports you long term. What they do is they have high quality products that meet personalization. If you go onto their website, takecareof.com, you can take their online quiz. And this quiz is a 5-minute quiz that asks you questions about your diet, lifestyle, and health concerns to help you address your specific wellness goals. It only takes a few seconds. And when I took the quiz, we were able to narrow it down to my sleep needs being my highest point of concern. And we were able to get the vitamin plan that I needed for that concern. Care of's holistic online quiz is like getting a one-on-one consultation with a nutritionist, all without leaving your home. They have products that are formulated with good for you, clean ingredients that are backed by science. Care of is super transparent about the research and sourcing behind each one of their products. And you get recommendations come in daily, individualized, wrapped packets that are perfect for getting back into routine. And I think if you were looking for a stocking stuffer or a gift for a athlete or anybody really in your life, I think that a subscription to Care Of is a perfect choice. Right now, the seasons are changing. It's important to get ahead of taking care of your immune health. It takes about 30 days for your body to adapt to new nutrients. So now is a great time to update your vitamin and wellness routines to help support your immune system this fall. Care Of's products go beyond vitamins and supplements to include protein powders and boosts to help supplement your workouts as you move indoors in these colder months. So check out Care Of. I think you'll really enjoy the products and it could be perfect for anybody in your life you're looking for a unique, thoughtful gift. Check out Care Of for 50% off your first Care Of order. Go to takecareof.com, enter code Hallmarkies50. That's 50% off your first Care Of order. Go to takecareof.com, enter code Hallmarkies50. All right. Well, let's talk about the Christmas Together, and this on Ion, and this is Vivica Fox, Anna Marie Dobbins, Mark Herman. This is a woman leaves New York for LA after a breakup and falls in love while renting the guest house of a young father. So this movie, again, Vivica Fox is incredible. But boy, these other two actors were rough. I thought they felt extremely amateurish to me, especially him. She was a little bit better, but I thought he was kind of terrible. The little girl was fine. It's a fine premise and movie, but whew, I thought it was a little bit of a rough sit. I mean, I feel like I have I give a pretty long leash for these made for TV movies. You know, obviously they don't have that much of a budget, but man, I thought he was just so like flat. All his line readings were flat to me. Um, so it was a rough sit in my opinion. But Vivica Fox is great. I like her more
I
than
like
ever.
I like the little girl character and I like Vivica A. Fox's character. The
Yeah.
thing about the main couple is like I like the story and I wanted it to be good because there's not a ton of these movies that are made about LA. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Normally
Yeah.
LA is always the don't go there, it's evil, there's no snow, you can't have Christmas there. And I'm like, okay, well, I've been doing it for the past 23 years, so obviously there's something wrong with me. But like I was hoping, but it just they had no chemistry. The main two actors
No
like,
chemistry.
and I don't know if it was the dialogue or what, but they didn't, I don't know, they didn't
Well,
click or mesh. And
and Ion can make good films like Snowman's hello, hilarious. We love that. But I don't know. I just it was a struggle. But the whole idea is kind of funny. The idea that you have this little girl that that's rents out her guest house. And what I think would have made it funnier is if like she'd gotten to the guest house and it was all done up like a little girl would think would be a nice guest house, right? You know, so it would have like I don't know, Hello Kitty sheets or something. You know what I mean? Like if they had kind of leaned into the story to make it like what a little girl would actually like think, oh, this is gonna super impress. But they didn't. It looked like super fancy and nice. And um, so I don't know.
Christmas it is what she did. She Christmas
Yeah,
the
but
guest
not like in
house.
a way a little girl. To me, it looked professional.
Oh, well, I mean,
Don't
she
you think?
was 11 or 12. She wasn't like,
I guess that's true. But I don't know. I just feel like they could have made that would have been really funny. Like I think that actually Hallmark did a better job with this with the Christmas Doctor, where she Holly Rose and Pete goes to stay at this she's like a temporary doctor, right? She's only there for like 2 weeks, and so she goes and she's staying in the old house of the the love interest character, and it hasn't been like lived in since the 80s, and so it has like all of this weird, it's got like VHS tapes and Star Wars stuff everywhere, and like that was funny, you know what I mean? Like that had a little more character than this just like pristine fancy you know, guest house. Like there was just ways I think they could have made it like a little, given it a little more character, a little more personality, made it a little funnier. But because that concept is funny, the idea of a woman renting a house from a little girl is funny.
yeah. And
But you're right. I mean, she's like a
I
teenager
feel like he
basically.
found out too quickly. I wish it would have been that she had
Yeah,
come and was staying, and maybe she was there for a few days or like a day or whatever before he found her. I think that would have
right.
been that would have been funny or something else like that. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It was just
It was just I mean, I hate to be too hard on any actors because you're out there making stuff, so way to go. But it was just not. It didn't work for me. His performance. So, yeah. So I'll give this 1.5 stars.
I'm gonna give it a 2.
Okay. All right. So then we have the Forgotten Carols, which I'm going to talk about real quick. So this is a Christmas classic in my neck of the woods, but it has gotten some play all over the country. It was actually originally written in 1991, and we're actually going to maybe do a whole episode on it with because me and Cami are going to be interviewing Michael McLean, the composer, tomorrow. So super exciting. And he wrote it in 1991 as an album, and then it got this stage adaptation. And basically, the idea behind the show is that is that this old man named Uncle John, he comes and he's kind of like an angel type character, and there's this sort of busy nurse who's forgotten about Christmas and named Constance, and he keeps calling her Connie Lou, and she's like, stop calling me that. And anyway, and so he starts telling her the forgotten carols of Christmas. And so there's a song about the innkeeper who didn't let Jesus in. There's a song about the shepherd who was late. There's a song about there's one I really love called "I Cry the Day They Take the Tree Down," which I think is such a beautiful song. There's "Mary Let Me Hold Her Baby," which is sung by a single woman, and it's beautiful. And so there's the thing that's nice about this, as I was saying about the Christmas Wish, is that this is this is unabashedly a Christian feature, and this is a filmed play and they actually put it on in September to a small crowd, socially distanced, and they filmed it. And they have like a few little tweaks to make it more modern, because obviously it was written in 1991, and so they have things like Uber and Alexa and things like that written into the script. But I really love the songs. I think they're beautiful. They're very like sort of that kind of Christian pageantry that you get in things in that you'll have in evangelical Pentecostal type of worship, that kind of singing. So if that's not your thing, you're not going to like it. But I like that kind of singing, and the songs they're a little over the top, but I think they're beautiful. And so if you're craving something that is more Christ focused this holiday season, that's quality, I think that this is and you like musicals, you like live plays, then you'll, I think, really enjoy this. And for somebody who has been really missing live theater, I haven't been able to see it, obviously, pretty much this whole year. I really enjoyed watching it, and I think it's something. It's non-denominational, so anybody of any faith, any Christian faith, can enjoy it. And I think it's definitely worth. Right now, it's available at the theaters right now, but you can also get it on DVD, and I think it'll be streaming and everything too. So take a look for The Forgotten Carols. I have my review over on my blog, and I'd give it I'd give it like 4.25 stars. So you just check it out. I think you'd like it, Amy.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's talk about the Christmas Spectacular. Speaking of Broadway shows, Christmas Spectacular with the Rockettes. And this is the Christmas Spectacular starring the Radio City Rockettes, is an annual musical holiday stage show presented at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. The 90-minute show features more than 140 performers, an original musical score, and combined singing, dancing, and humor with traditional singings. And so this is on the Peacock Network, by the way, if people have that streaming service. Had you ever, you probably heard of the Rockettes, but have you heard about this show before seeing it?
No, all I've ever seen of the Rockettes was Macy Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever seen the Rockettes.
Okay. So. Well, so for me, watching this show had a lot of personal meaning, because when I was around your age, in 2000, my cousin and I had this plan that we were going to get our grandma to take us to New York City, and we were pretty close. She was the closest cousin to me in age, and my grandma loves the Rockettes, and so we said, Grandma, we'll go see the Rockettes. It will be an amazing. We get to go for Christmas, and it'll be so fun. And so she was up for it, and so we went on this special trip to New York City, and then we saw the Rockettes, the Christmas Spectacular. We saw Beauty and the Beast. We saw Music Man, and it was an incredible trip, something I'll always treasure. And then my cousin passed away that April, surprisingly. And she'd had poor health for a long time, but she'd been doing so well. in the last 2 years that it really surprised us all. And then my grandma passed away last year. So watching this with Broadway being closed, knowing that it really was meant a lot to me. I really loved it. And it's just so fun. I mean, all of the dancing is incredible. How in sync they are for everything is unbelievable. And it does everything from like dancing Santas to the live nativity scene to it's everything Christmas that you could ever want. Anything. And so, anyway, I really loved it. It was one of the highlights of Christmas 2020 for me. As watching this was really cool. As somebody who was new to it, what did you think?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't really know what the Rockettes did because all I'd ever seen was them doing the kick line at the Thanksgiving parade. That's
Yeah.
all I've ever seen of them.
Right.
So I think it's really cool. They're fantastic job. And like you said, they're so in sync. Their windows and their placements and when they're moving formations is just
Yes.
fantastic. I mean, I danced for years as a kid and I could never imagine like ever being anywhere near as good as that. So those women, they're fantastic. Like,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
Like that whole sequence with when they're the soldiers,
Mhm.
unbelievable how in
Yeah.
sync they are. The
Mhm.
wooden soldiers, it's so good.
I
And
can't imagine like how much practice and like dedication it must take to be able to do that.
yeah.
It's just,
And you know all the routines are just so much fun. The dancing Santas, the of course, yeah, they are most known for the kick line, but it's great to see. And uh, it was interesting to me in this special, almost every single testimonial that they had about seeing the Rockettes, about going to the Rockettes, almost every single person was a person of color, which I thought was interesting because I never thought of that as being a particularly like diverse show, but they certainly have diverse Rockettes. But I don't know, I just thought that was interesting that there was like John Legend and I can't remember on the top of my head everybody, but I thought that that was interesting that obviously the Rockettes have such a reach beyond just like the musical theater buff and the musical theater fan, that there's something that people from all over, and that, I mean, that's one of the great things about Christmas is that it just has this reach to everybody that can enjoy about it and just be cheerful. I mean, and like I said, they even have the nativity in there, which is really interesting. I mean, they just show it's anything that's related to Christmas, they do
yeah.
on there. So I highly recommend it. It's not that long if you want to get in the Christmas spirit and
Yeah.
enjoy some great dancing.
Be a
Then
fun
you
one to just turn on while you're baking cookies or making dinner or something.
yeah,
Even the music is awesome too. So like if
yeah.
you're just listening to it, like it's really good.
Really great songs.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'd give it, I don't know. I mean, just even with that personal significance for me, I'd give it a 5 stars. I loved it. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was incredible. I agree.
Yeah. So there we go. That is what we have to cover this episode. But let us know if you've gotten to see any of these things, what you think. And if you've gotten to see anything we haven't covered, put it in the comment section. We'd love to hear your thoughts. There's so much out there on so many different networks and channels and other things that let us know what you've been watching. And Amy, how can people find you?
You can find me YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at It's Amy Craig.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. And make sure you're following the podcast, the Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And we have so much great content coming up this next weekend. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure that you are subscribed and following us. And if you are listening on iTunes, if you could leave your ratings and reviews, we really appreciate that. And if you are watching this video on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that so much. We also have our patron group, which has early exclusives and it has other great opportunities to get to enjoy. So make sure to check that out. And we also have our merch store, which has tons of fun merch. And we have our Zoom backgrounds, which you can get on our website for free that we're both using for this episode. So if you're watching the YouTube, you get to see them. So make sure to check that out by Jessica Miller. We are so grateful for all that she has done this season. So thanks so much and Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll talk to you all later.
Merry
Bye.
Christmas.